Have you ever gone to the store and gotten a plant and found a little care card tucked into the soil? Like, the little guy that's like, this is how much water it needs, this is how much light it needs. Or in other words, it's basically telling you how to take care of that plant so it can thrive. Now, what if you had a similar care card that was easy to follow, but it was for your career? Welcome to Satisfaction Seekers. If you're new here, my name is Anthony Kuo, and I'm your career satisfaction coach. And this is Zoe, who is, I think, a really wonderful mascot for just having a satisfying time in life. And I'm here to help you understand your career from all the angles. So understanding why the parts of it that work do, and also understanding why the parts that don't work for you are so frustrating. And so when you're ready to build more career satisfaction and possibly make a change, you know exactly what needs to change and why. And that's exactly what the care card is for, and why it's so important for you to develop one for your career. That's what we're going to dive into today. So, fun fact, I like plants, and I really love taking care of them. You probably figured that one out already. If you weren't paying attention to the dog, you are seeing the plants in the background. And so I'd like to introduce you to one of them. I've got some in the foreground as well. This is Susan. Susan is a money tree. And almost 10 years ago, she was about this tall. Just like, a little baby. And she was a gift. And the friend who gave her to us made a bet. It was like a bet you can't keep her alive. Like, really would like you to, but I'm not sure about that. So that kind of lit the fire under my butt to be like, all right, I'm going to prove you wrong here. And so that's what I needed to kind of start looking into. How do you take care of a money tree? How much water does it need? Fun fact, you can drown a plant by watering it too much. I didn't know this, and this explains a lot about why some of the plants that my mom asked me to take care of when I was young didn't do so well. So I made sure she was properly watered and fed and repotted when she was getting bigger. And now she's doing great, right? That's because over the last 10 years, I made extra sure to provide the conditions that this organism needed to thrive, not just to the 1-year mark, but now to the 10-year mark. And in the context of your career, a care card does exactly that. It tells you what you need to thrive so you can do it, so you can meet those needs. And of course, you as a human being are a way more complex and interesting than a plant is. But just because you're a human and that's a plant, we still have basic needs that we need to meet. So whether it's for a plant, it's, light, water, and air. For your career, you've got some basic ingredients that you need. So what are those? For starters, your interests need to be engaged. And when I say interest, I don't just mean like, surface level interests, like what you would be doing for your hobbies. It's something deeper, actually. Like, what captures your attention when you're really absorbed in doing something, and what moves it along and holds on to it, right? And that's really, really important, because in the absence of that interest, you're bored, you're disengaged. You can be surface level interested in what you're doing, but you're not actually really following along. So, interests, first crucial ingredient. Second one is you need to be able to freely express your natural style that comes out when you pursue those interests. So what are you like when you're having a good day and you're just nerding out on whatever it is you like to nerd out on? Ideally, you'll be in an environment where that style, those traits, are seen, valued, and appreciated, because otherwise you're going to feel like a square peg in a round hole, and it's exhausting to have to twist yourself into a pretzel to appear to fit in. I've done that myself. I've got a lot of time and experience doing that one, and let me tell you, that was why I felt so wiped at the end of the day, even if I wasn't doing very much. So, interests and style. And lastly, we want to understand the needs that sit underneath those interests and styles, right? Those interests and styles are in service of meeting what? Now, this is really, really important to understand, because this is what makes the difference between what's simply a nice hobby that's really fulfilling and engaging. So your needs will put it this way, your needs differentiate a hobby versus a truly fulfilling career. that brings you back day after day, even when it's hard, right? A hobby you can put down when you're like tired of it for a little bit, but a career you come back to. And so having an awareness of your needs helps develop sustainability, helps you develop longevity in your career. So your interest, style, and your needs. And if you could define these things for yourself, how powerful would that be for you? Because when you define it really, really nicely, your care card can be a navigational tool that helps guide you throughout your entire career. You can use it to diagnose your situation, right? When things aren't going great, this will help you understand how and why, right? When Susan's leaves turn yellow, that's my sign that she needs more water. Or sometimes, depending on the type of yellow, again, understanding, maybe I've given her too much water and she needs a chance to dry out. Right? So your care card will help you diagnose your current situation. It'll help you figure out what you need to change. And also, when you look at new opportunities when they come up, you can evaluate them to understand, will this meet my care card? Will I actually get my needs met here? So in my group program, it's called Create a Career You Love. We take this idea and we run with it. So when somebody comes in, we get really, really curious about what makes this person tick and what conditions they need to be at their best. And based on that information, we can figure out what's next for them, whether they can meet their care card where they currently are or if they need to go looking somewhere else. And it's really, really cool what can happen when we find this information about people, because everyone is different, everyone's unique. And it's really amazing how different people can be, even when they're doing the same profession. Let me tell you a story. I once had two professional chefs going through the program at the same time, and they did very similar work when they started out. But when we worked with them, it emerged that they actually had quite different care cards. So one of the chefs really enjoyed and got off on the managing the flow of the kitchen aspect, right? So she was really into lists and organizations and telling people what to do. And the other was good at that and could do that, but what she really focused on and what she found fulfilling and satisfying was when she could watch somebody eat her food and enjoy it, right? And creating those moments of magic and connection through her creations. And so based on that, we were able to say, okay, even though you have a similar profession, you care about different things. So as a result, the first chef ended up looking into a career as a holistic nutrition coach, where she could carry over her love for food and nourishment with a bit more of that, like, I'm going to tell you what to do aspect, and subtracted out the physically demanding aspects of being a chef. And the other chef ended up opening up a cookie shop in her local community where she could delight in those moments of joy and connection by being even closer to the people she was serving. So again, similar professions, similar interests in food, but very different styles and needs and other interests. So as a result, they had different care cards, right? And figuring that out helped us put them in a different place where they each got to nourish and engage their unique and distinct personalities in their work. So for you, I wonder, what captures your interest? What's your style when you're having a good day? And underneath all of that, what do you need? These sound like simple questions, right? But it's kind of tricky. It's deceptively simple. And as you sit with these questions, you might notice that some information comes really easily, and then there's this whole other raft of stuff that you can't quite put your finger on. And that's totally normal, right? It's because they're big questions. They're asking questions about ourselves and our sense of identity, which is really big and really challenging. And that's why in our programs, we pay attention to this by chopping them up actually into manageable pieces so we can look at each aspect of it without getting overwhelmed. But with just the information in this video, think on it anyway, right? What are your interests, what are your styles, and what are your needs? And I wonder how even just a surface level feel for these things can start to change the way you think about your career. Now, if you want to go a little bit deeper and maybe even start to build your own care card, consider subscribing to the Satisfaction Seekers newsletter. It's totally free, and it's where I'm sharing tools and strategies and stories that I use with my clients to help them build more career satisfaction. And you can use them to build your own too. So if that sounds interesting to you, there's a link to sign up below. Till then, really appreciate you for watching this video. I hope you learned something about your interest, style, and needs, and I'll talk to you soon.